Hello and good evening, everyone. Hi, I have with me Dr. Rajath Varshaney from a small town in the district of Badaयूं from Uttar Pradesh with us, and he is here to share his success story. Congratulations, Dr. Rajath Varshaney. Congratulations and welcome to DocTutorials.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So Dr. Rajath was a subscriber of DocTutorials. He's rank 2, which is fantabulous, and rank 5 in CML and AML list, respectively. And he's done this fantastic stuff in a great going in the very first attempt. Am I right, Rajath?
Yes, sir. It's my first attempt.
Yes. So we are going to learn and share his experiences with our audiences and people who are listening to this conversation. And of course, this video will be available beyond the Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And then we'll also be discussing the strategies. So Dr. Rajath, share us your background. I know that you have done your UG and PG from UCMS Delhi, but then how did you start off your preparation and when did the cardiology strike to you?
Sir, it was during my PG days, especially during my second year, that I got an interest in cardiology. And especially when I joined the CCU postings, then I got to see more of the cardiology patients, and I got a liking to the immediate relief of the patient that the patient used to get. And I was also interested in emergencies and some of the interventions. That is why I choose the cardiology. Sir, in my MD days, I was focused on completing the MD, and I was keen on reading the Harrison part. Sir, I was not much preparing for the NEET or INI during my MD days. I was just completing my MD, and I wanted to be a good physician during my MD days. So it was only after completion of my MD that I thought about subspecialty cardiology. And initially, it was in September. NEET was in September. So I started preparing for the NEET, and I used to watch the videos of medicine. And for the cardiology part, I used to watch the video of cardiology, and I used to make notes. So, sir, it was always in my mind to give the INI, irrespective of my rank in the NEET. I got a rank of 140 in the NEET SS. So I was sure that I would get one of the colleges in Delhi. But it was always my interest that I wanted to study in the Central Institute, because both in my undergraduation and post graduation, I missed AIMS by a bit margin.
So you made it up in a big way then. So you
Yes, sir. I
might have
just
missed
wanted
out in
to.
a whisker on the UG and PG, but you have an example here set by you, by Dr. Rajath, and we congratulate him for his grand success. And that's a very important point that he's brought out, that it's when you prepare your super speciality, what you need is a strong foundation of your basic sciences. You need strong basic sciences for PG, and you need very good PG preparation, which is good internal medicine preparation for preparing for cardiology. So do they go hand in hand? I mean, do you have to prepare separately for NEET SS and separately for cardiology INI, or both can be done simultaneously?
Sir, actually, I was a bit fortunate that the NEET SS was in September and INI was in November. Uh, Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Your video is frozen, but you can continue to speak. You're audible, Rajat. Please go ahead. Rajat, you can go ahead. So what Rajat has been, I think there is some connection issue with him. But what Rajat has been, yes, Dr. Rajat is back. Yeah, Rajat.
Yes, sir. My video is not currently coming
now
out.
both are fine. Now both are fine.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, during my, I was a bit fortunate that I was preparing for my NEET, and NEET was in September, while there was a gap between the NEET and the INI exam. So I could prepare the medicine part during my NEET preparations, and after completing my NEET in the September, I was preparing for the cardiology part. So in while giving the INI exam for the medicine part, I could recall the questions from the NEET preparation, sir.
Your camera is tilted. You need to rotate your camera.
Yes,
You're
yes.
appearing sideways. Yeah. So, yeah, now this is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So what Dr. Rajath has told us that, I mean, a lot of basics when you read for cardiology from Harrison itself suffices in a good way of preparing for even INISS, because basic cardiology or medicine, or for that matter any subspecialty, doesn't change. The basic foundations don't change. If you have got good foundations from Harrison, you're going to do well in the super specialty as well. So, you were subscribed to the question bank as well. So, what was your experience with the DocTutorials question bank?
Sir, the question bank was great. Sir, I was preparing for my INI preparation, so I used to read some of the topics, and I used to give the questions of some of the topics which I used to find difficult, such as, sir, congenital heart diseases or arrhythmias, or some of the topics that I used to find difficult. I used to go back to the questions. I used to do the questions, and then whatever the questions I used to get wrong, I used to come back and I used to see my notes as what I have done wrong and how I can improve, and I could edit in my notes, sir.
So yeah, so question bank, what we usually do at tutorials, which is unique to us, is not only we have a good amount of big question banks from all the previous exams and the question banks that we have prepared earlier with us, but on top of that, we are supposed to create new questions every month and submit it to the question bank. So I think you remember appearing for the exams, the grand test that we do. And I remember that you doing well in one of them as well. I mean, were your ranks, that all India ranking exam, was reflected in that exam, and does it correlate anyway in your NEET SS or INI results?
Yes, sir. I was in the top five in
Yes.
the Grand Test, and sir, it was very useful as I could prepare for the questions, and I could, it was the questions that I was doing wrong, and how I could get more questions right. I could, guess from my Grand Test.
So that's the whole thing. I mean, he was rank 5 there, and he's got rank 5 here in AML as well, right, Dr. Rajat?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's what the DocTutorials grant test reflects. It tells you where you stand, because practically every candidate who's appearing actually goes through the subscription of the same, and then ends up reflecting where it stands, along with the preparation for the videos and the subtopic videos that are available apart from the free sessions. Like there is a free video on spotters that we do. So there is a video on spotters. Have you seen that, Rajat? The
Yes, sir.
spotters
I
video.
also saw that video before my exam, sir, and it was kind of useful, sir, because many of the image-based questions were there, and
Absolutely.
so yes, sir, I could
So, like,
relate it
I think there was a
to it.
question on a discordant pattern on constrictive
Yes, sir.
pericarditis. That again was
Yes, sir.
from the spotters lecture. There was another ECG of valence sign. I think
Yes, sir.
there was an X-ray on scimitar probably
Yes, sir.
in
Yes, sir.
the
That was in the
NEET.
question.
Yeah, so those questions are actually, the spotters video is a free video that's available on the DocTutorial channel, and everybody probably accesses, and this has been acknowledged by a lot of candidates where we have prepared it. Also, the question formats that we create at DocTutorials, you might have observed that all of the following are true except. So each question gives you 4 options, one is wrong, and you learn 3 new points about that question. So did you observe that kind of a phenomena
Yes,
in learning? The
yes,
question
sir.
may not be
Most
cut, copy, paste, but the way of learning a new topic is also devising the questions in a fashion that when you just do MCQ, you actually end up learning the topics.
So most of the questions in the INI were like these only. All of the
Yeah.
following are true except.
Yes.
So I could relate it, and I could do well in those questions because I had done all those questions previously also.
So, do you think the solving strategy of paper for the INISS versus NEET SS, does it differ, or the paper solving strategy when you're appearing for the exam has nothing more? I mean, not a gross difference between the two of them, except that the weightage is more on the hardcore cardiology in the INI versus basic cardiology in the NEET SS, or do you think that the question framing approach was also slightly different?
Sir, the question framing approach, the level of the question was definitely higher in the INI examinations. Most of the questions were like all of the following are true except, and I had to read all the options, and I had to read all the options again and again to find out which of the option is correct or which of the option is incorrect. So I had to give more amount of time while solving the INISS questions.
Yeah, we are doing the recall session very soon at DocTutorials on the same. We were waiting for the results to come. And the whole purpose was that the methodology of questions, like I remember, the commonest cause of heart failure in India is. Now, this seems
Yes,
like
sir.
a very odd question, nothing but big. But there is a paper published by All India Institute on their prevalence. And there the answer is something that you think is not the answer, but that's how the question was framed. And that's how a lot of people felt that they got the answer right and they were missing in the merit list. But Dr. Rajat was, well prepared for it to make it to the list. Congratulations again. So
Thank you, sir.
you were part of a WhatsApp group. Can you elaborate on WhatsApp group that DocTutorials creates with the faculty, that is myself and cardiology?
Yes, sir. I was on the WhatsApp group, and WhatsApp group helped me to keep revising the topics and to get the new information, new trials and new data which I had not read previously. I could see it on a daily basis on the groups.
And do you think that that was more depressing or it was more encouraging? Because a lot of people feel, "Itna tough dalte hain, sir, kai baar." So does it discourage or does it encourage?
No, sir, it definitely encourages. It is not depressing, but when you have read all the things previously and you get to know
Absolutely.
new topics, then it encourages us to read further and further.
Absolutely, because I think where you score, what everybody knows is where you'll average it out. What will set you apart is the question or the topic which others don't know, but you know. So
Yes,
coming
sir.
to the interviews, how did you prepare for interviews for the final round of the INISS?
Sir, in the interview part, the mock interview that I had with you, and you took the mock interview of other candidates also, and I was also a part of those mock interviews. I was listening to those mock interviews. So, sir, mock interview helped me in many ways. First of all, I had not given any interview previously, so this mock interview gave me a confidence which I was lacking previously because I was unaware what kind of questions will be there and how will the interview go and what will panelist ask me. So by your interview I got a bit of confidence, and the questions, so some of the questions that you asked in the interview were exactly there in the final interview. So like you asked the question of difference between RCMP and DCM, that was asked in the interview part. You also asked the young male comes with a cyanosis, what will be the differential and how will you approach such a patient. So all those questions were asked to me in the interview panel, sir. And also, sir, statistics part, like I was lacking a bit of confidence in the stats part. So by having a mock interview, it helped me a lot, sir.
Yeah, so that's how I do. So that's one way I do mock interviews different from the rest of the guys, including our doctoral faculties and some of the other groups. I create a group, and that's the secret that I have. You create a group, create all the students to log in together, and you don't repeat any questions so that you're prepared for a large set of questions. And yes,
Yes,
that
sir.
mock interview session is a different way of doing it. And yes, biostatistics, at least I try to make sure that nothing is missed out. And you're right. I mean, the approach is the same because myself being an examiner in universities, we know what my fellow colleagues are going to be asking you. And so a lot of times that advantage also helps out to the candidates preparing with us. So Dr. Rajat, what's your tips or important 3 lessons that you want to give to the next batch preparing? One for NEET SS and 2 for INISS, what they should do and what they should not do.
Sir, first of all, while doing MD, they should focus on being a great physician. They should read their Harrison and not at all jump in the first year to preparing for the INI. They should first be a good physician, then they can be a super specialist. So first advice will be like that only.
Absolutely.
And second, for the neat part, sir, initially, if you have read the Harrison, you can have most of the questions in the neat were from the Harrison only, and rest 2 months of the 2 months of the preparation for neat, I think, is more than enough. And what you can do smartly while preparing for the NEET, if you want to also give INI exam, the specialty that you want to give in the INI, you can prepare that separately in a more elaborate fashion. like I wanted to give cardiology. So while giving my NEET exam, while preparing for my NEET exam, I was simultaneously preparing the cardiology in a bit. And after giving NEET, I can just revise those cardio part, and I can prepare for the more.
That's fantastic. So I think it's very important aspect is one, to prepare your foundation strong. Number two, identify what you're going to prepare for finally. And number three, prepare notes and concepts along as you proceed. So again, amongst the preparation strategies, um, there is a strategy what I call in my students as PQRST: preview, question, read, summarize, and test. The common psychology technique of learning and preparing subjects like medicine. Do you think that more MCQ solving strategy helps, or you need to have good orientation of the subject and then attempt the MCQs? What's the better strategy? Because a lot of students are just like only the question bank, and prepare 60,000 questions and think it will just turn around and churn around and they'll get through. Does it happen, or do you always find some new interesting set of questions?
Sir, what my strategy is, I give one or two revision first, and then I start giving the questions. Because if
Absolutely.
I do not have the hold of what I have learned or what I have already read, then there is no point in solving the questions and getting it wrong.
True.
Because first, if I have the hold of what I have read, then I can learn new things from the MCQs.
So that's why we have a fantastic video set of more than 100 topics now in cardiology, and we also have equal amount of the largest question bank in cardiology with new set of questions provided by us. I have to sit back and try to find questions that's not prepared in the previous question bank. So every time there is a new set of questions. You appeared for all the four grand tests, isn't it? The four sets of exams, or
Yes, sir.
two of
Yes, sir.
them?
I appeared.
Four.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All four of grand tests
Sir,
done
I
by
appeared
DocTutorials.
for I think three. I think
Three of
yes,
them.
sir. Yes, sir.
So you must have remembered one of them must have been
Yes,
very
sir.
easy and basic and repeat, and two of them would be like out of blue. Pata nahi kuch bhi
Yes,
puch
sir.
liya. So that anything out of
Yes, sir.
blue was
Yes,
the
sir.
creation of trying to put in new set of questions and everything out and too tough, but everything was from Brunwald. So yes, Brunwald remains your standard book. So
Yes, sir.
finally, how is the celebration going with the family? How the family is feeling?
Sir, all the family members are very happy because it's been to.
All right. So we wish you great success and a
Hello.
bright future in cardiology. And congratulations once again to Dr. Rajath Varshaney, who's a DocTutorial subscriber, and he's got a CML rank 2 and AML rank 5, and I'm sure he's going to make and get the fantastic branch, and not only a branch but all the seat of his choice in the branch of cardiology, which gives you immediate satisfaction, as he was saying, once you open up a closed artery in acute MI. So best wishes. Thank you for being with
Yes, sir.
us, Rajat, and always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank
And
you, sir.
it's an open offer that you can always contact me, and our association shall be for a lifetime. That's how I guess stay connected with all my students. Always feel free to get back to me if you have any queries, and I'll be
Yes, sir.
very happy to help you in whatever way I can. Best wishes. Take care and
Thank you,
stay.
sir.